What you're seeing is recovered replay mod footage of both my proudest Minecraft achievement and the project that nearly made me quit forever. This is the story of how I built the mega base for my Minecraft Survival Forever world. It began with days, weeks, honestly I don't even know how long, of creative testing. I settled on the build palette over a year before I even started work on the building. It was this warm tone to cool tone grey gradient, and for the longest time it just sort of sat unused in my test world. But then one night on a Discord call with friends, I finally got to work. I looked at the British palace designs on my Pinterest board, and I wanted something regal, but not just a palace. That felt too boring. And that's when the legs came in, and they're my favorite part of the build. It gives it a slightly mecha feel that reflected my love of industrial aesthetics. Something I'd wanted to explore but felt boxed out of by the Victorian Gothic style of my main base. I gathered the resources quickly, and I started building in survival. But before long, I burnt out. The project was, just simply put, too big. Too complex, there were too many different blocks. And constantly flying back to storage for that single block of cyan terracotta that I couldn't fit into my inventory quickly wore me down. I hit a wall. My play sessions dropped from an hour to half an hour to 20 minutes before I got tired and stopped entirely. I stopped recording. I stopped making Minecraft videos in general. I completely lost the motivation. I didn't have the time, space, or energy, and I was exhausted by doing the same project over and over again. A few months later, I started a server with some friends, and I had more fun than I'd had in years of single player. I realized what was missing. In a single player world, where I was slowly chipping away at something I desperately wanted to share but couldn't, there was no community. No one to back me up during the ugly phase. No one to remind me that there was only a little more to go, so I abandoned the world. I even deleted most of my old footage to free up hard drive space. Then I watched a Snopple video. It was about a massive 72-hour build challenge. So I submitted a screenshot of the creative version of the build, and to my surprise, they actually invited me to join. I barely recorded anything. I'd already decided I'd never make another Minecraft video again, but through the competition, working with professional builders, and interacting with the wider community, I fell back in love with the Minecraft YouTube space. I met incredible people, joined Discords, made fan art, and entered build competitions, and rediscovered what made the space special. And that's what brought me back to this video. I found the old replay mod files, I booted up the correct version, I spent 3 solid days exporting them, and that's what you're watching now. But this video is more than just that time lapse, it's the start of what I want to do next. The beginning of my first serious attempt to create in the Minecraft YouTube space in a long time. But now, I've got friends and creators around me who inspire me, and for the first time in a while, I'm excited for what comes next. So without further ado, here's the first episode of my Minecraft Survival series. What's going on, guys? Spiffinometry here. This is a little bit different. You might be asking, where are you? Well, to answer your question, my dear viewer, this is my long-term survival world. It's never been seen before on camera because I mostly upload creative and hardcore videos, but this is where I spend my time when I just want to play the game casually. But I figured I might spend some time at the moment showing you guys how I have made what I've made in this world, all completely in survival mode. And walk you guys through my process, And hopefully you too can have a forever world that you are very proud of, like I am with this one. So without further ado, let me go back into first person and I can show you what I'm gonna be doing. So in this episode, we're going to structure it out from basically zero. The start is going to be me in a creative copy of this world, building a sort of rough outline of what we're going to be doing, and then I will show you the detailing process, texturing process in creative, and then the material gathering process back in the survival world, followed by the final build. And yes, as you can see, this is the area we're working on. The transitionary point from my old base to my new mega base. So if I show you right here, we have this nice flat area. I don't know if I'm going to use the whole thing, but definitely we have this amazing new base. I need a better looking entrance, and the ground around here is just completely, there's nothing here. I've mostly moved all of the materials. At this point it's just a whole bunch of just stuff from deleting this mountain. I nearly made a video about this mega base, but I did the digital equivalent of shaving off all your hair in a sort of episode of depression, and I deleted all the footage. So there you go. This time, hopefully I can try and show you guys the process. So I guess we've spent enough time in the survival world. We can hop on over into our creative copy. The entrance to this area, I'm not actually going to build any sort of rails in here, but I'm going to make the entrance look like a Victorian era train station, or rather, I'm actually not sure if the reference I found is a Victorian era train station, but I found, after scrolling on Pinterest for a couple of minutes, a train station called the Antwerpen Central train station, and it looks aesthetically like it would fit in well with this kind of palatial Gothic. I think this is more like Edwardian or like some other era of British palatial design, but the main thing is that the other buildings in my survival world are Victorian, so I wanted to keep with that aesthetic, at least for the tunnel entrance, but add a little bit more of that steampunk in, like with the robot legs. So train station, that's what we're doing, and I'm just gonna rough it out a little bit, and then I'll get back to you when we've got a skeleton. And here we are back in the survival world. As you can see, we now have a material list here for the build. It's looking like about 1.5 stacks, 1.7 stacks of, 1.7 shulker boxes of polished tuff, plus some more down here. How much is that? 8. I'm just going to try and fill a bit over 2 shulker boxes of tuff as our first material that we need to gather. So, but the rest of them are in much more doable quantities. I think the stone and the dirt there is just based on bits of the existing terrain that were caught in the schematic. But yeah, let's see how this goes, see how long it takes me to get all this tuff. Alright, and here we have it. Our 2 boxes of tuff, finished, ready, not quite stone cut into its appropriate form yet, but we have more work to do, that's right. I need to grab some snow. I've actually got a fair bit, not quite enough for what I need next. Because if at this point in the video you've seen the texturing pass I did, I included snow blocks as part of the walls to the build, so we're going to have to get a better way of crafting those. To do that, I'm going to make a relatively tiny snow farm. So let's grab some pumpkins. That'll do. I've got shears on me, hoppers, chests, fences. I think that's kind of all we need, but now we need to find a space to put it. I wonder, do I have any buildings here that just are still unpurposed? I do! This one I built ages ago in an attempt to make use of all job blocks or, non-standard blocks to build the house, and I ended up really liking the final design. But as you can see, in here there is no actual build of any kind. I think we're good. Just realizing I could have it deposit into 2 chests. I don't have a design in mind as such, so I'm just kind of winging it. There we go. If my memory is correct, a snow golem will fit in this. Well, I wasn't expecting that. What did I do? Does it not create? Yeah, okay, so more testing is required. Perhaps instead we can use iron bars and then hopper minecarts and, oh wonderful, a block that you can't mine with a shovel. Obsidian. I need a rail to place the hopper minecart down on. And we're back with a fair amount of snow. You can see here I've created a little auto crafting setup that's just slowly turning all of these snowballs into snow blocks, and I need about a single chest worth, so I've actually gone and farmed a little bit extra. It's just going to be ticking away while we go and complete the next of our tasks, which is obtaining... Oh, also I've gone and fixed up my shovel. I actually recorded this clip before, but I didn't have my mic turned on, so... But yes, the next thing we need is diorite. We need about 22 stacks of it, which is quite a lot, and if we have a look inside our diorite chest, yeah, we've only got 1. So, back to the mines. And it probably won't be for the last time, but yes, I'm just gonna go over here to this little hole I started bombing out, and pretty sure, yes, there's a beacon around here somewhere, I think, that is giving me the ability to insta-mine this stuff, so I'm just gonna do this until I've got 22 stacks. It is quite soothing to insta-mine it. Being said, I've just lost beacon range. Is frustrating, but yeah, I'll cut back when I have my diorite. Here I am in my librarian trading hall, and I'm just getting glass. Each one of these librarians that has a glass block above them sells me glass, so I'm just waiting for them to restock their trades. It's, I think, my quickest way of getting glass. Though I could make a trip out to the desert. I don't need too much. As you can see here, I've already got 8 stacks of red-stained glass. So, just a little bit more and we should be golden. Or red, I suppose. So, I'm literally molding right now. That's about my third creeper explosion. The build, two of which have gotten my chests. So, as you can see here, I've waterlogged the chests now, and I've installed Mini HUD. That's the mod that's making these colored numbers in the ground appear, and that's actually the light level of the build. Anything above 1 should be spawn proof, so I'm going to do what I should have done a long time ago, and I am going to spawn proof this entire build before I start working on anything else, because my goodness, I am this close to freaking out. So, as you can see, I've lit up the first leg here. I believe that's pretty much completely spawn-proof. It is a little awkward that you don't get the same kind of complete in-shadow look that the other leg has, that really like adds to the whole scale of it, but I do think with the kind of random lighting, you get this cool texture that the build didn't have before. There was another creeper hole. Let me show you guys that in free cam. Blew up this section of the leg, and another one over here. God, it's annoying. So I'm gonna have to spend some time repairing the actual build itself before we can keep going with, you know, the project for this episode. So always more work to be done. I thought about just using just carpet to spawn proof these lower sections at the very least, but I don't know, the glow lichen is not that bad and it's a lot quicker. One other thing to update you guys on, if I fly over here and pick up a shulker box, is I installed a mod recently which lets me put a shulker box in my hotbar and shift right click, and I have access to the items inside the shulker box. So that's going to be really helpful for builds with a lot more color palette detail. I was, recently actually really inspired by a builder called Mir. I was watching their YouTube channel, and they have these builds with just absolutely incredible amount of, different block types. Like, you see here where I've used maybe 3 different blocks to create this gradient. Their block palette is just so incredibly large and detailed, and I got a little bit jealous. But I kind of avoid doing that sort of stuff because, for one, it's harder to design. Like, it takes a really talented builder to do that. But also, it's so hard to build in survival mode because you've only got fairly limited inventory space. And carrying around all those different blocks to switch between is kind of really difficult. I mean, the main base up here, as you can see, it has a pretty substantial block palette going from this coppery color all the way down to diorite. But it was just like a nightmare to build. So I'm hoping with this new shulker box mod, I can kind of bridge the gap, split the difference between being able to tackle these more complicated builds while not having to just get onto the verge of a panic attack every time I try to find a block in my inventory. So yeah. Also, I don't know if I've shown this in a video yet, but this is the interior for the base. As you can see here, we've got the little vending machines that I have in my other base, and they're really handy. Just go right click on them, grab some materials. We have ender pearls, and we restock on ender pearls. Just loving the new shelves. The upstairs stuff isn't done, and I'm not actually sure I'm gonna keep all of these tool stations the same. I think this middle one will stay with just these classic tool stations, but the other 2 I'll switch to like the loom and other sort of more niche kind of tools. But yeah, workstations rather. Anyway, I've got more lighting up to do. So yeah, I will let's toggle this back on and hop to it. I'll get back to you guys in a little bit. And welcome back. Since you are all very smart, clever viewers, you'll no doubt have recognized that there have been a couple of changes since the final recording. And those mainly include just some minor details, sprucing up. I've gone and added water to the fountain and these lovely flowers and short grass, glow lichen, and these little terrain elements here. Cliffs that I intend to sort of bring around through this mountain, but that's probably a job for another video. I've also added them over on this side here, just to sort of support this little outcropping a little better. And I've added a nice little bit of path here, which is kind of simulating this idea that the grass around this strip is not doing so well, as but constantly being agitated by the shifting of these robotic legs. As well as that, just generally we've finished the main bulk of the build, but there's something that we're still missing. As you can see, it looks a little bit empty, and to rectify that, I'm thinking not one but 2 avenues of trees. That's 24 custom trees I'm going to build here, and if my previous history of custom tree building has taught me anything, this is probably going to take the longest out of the whole build, or at least be a lot more difficult than I am hoping. But yeah, as well as that, I've got a new shulker box mod. This one lets me actually just access them all from within my inventory. Even better, even faster, even more detail blocks I can fit into my inventory and use whenever I feel like it, which is ultimately what I want out of this. There have been a couple of mobs still spawning, but for the most part I've got the light levels to a point that I'm happy with, and I might go around and replace the glow lichen with... That's not glow lichen, that's gravel. What? I'm gonna go... Geez, that stun locked me. I was not expecting that to be gravel. I'm gonna change the glow lichen for like maybe like little decorative lamps or something like that. Little shrines maybe. But yes, for now, trees. And then I think that will probably be the finishing touch. I think we're just about done with the implementation of our mega base, the integration of my mega base. A good way of putting it. So yeah, also I've been chipping away at this mountain. Without further ado, let me show you the process of making some trees and forest. And foresting. I think that might be the word. Alright, here's the time lapse. Well, I think that about wraps it up. As you can see, we've got these beautiful trees. The Lorax would be proud. And yeah, this is the integration of the Mecha Palace Mega Base complete. And I think that's all for this episode. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you liked, give it a like. If you're feeling delightfully devilish, give it a subscribe. And hey, leave a comment. What should I do next? How can I improve? How are you feeling today, just generally speaking? And I'll catch you guys all in the next episode. Peace.